It took 3 years to get my kids their first dental appointment in a new city. We had just moved here to Portland, Oregon, and I was just busy, and every time I would try to like call a dental office, they'd be closed. I'm like, I'm not gonna leave a message, and like I wasn't plugged into the local dental community, so I was like, okay, I'll just choose the dentist closer to me. I'll choose the dentist that has online scheduling. Well, nobody did.
AI isn't just changing dentistry, it's completely redefining it. Tune into Bite-Sized Podcast, the Dental AI and Tech Podcast, and stay ahead of the curve.
Every technology company selling products and services to dental practices promises that you'll get your time back. But practices actually winning with these new tools, they aren't saving time at all. Melissa Turner is a clinician, consultant, and one of the more honest voices in the dental technology space, and about what AI adoption and technology adoption actually costs a practice before it pays off. She's been at the front end of teledentistry before most dentists even knew what that meant. She runs a teledentistry focused conference and association and has built a reputation helping practice owners and clinical teams navigate the gap between buying a tool and actually changing how they work within the practice. Her framework isn't about which software to pick. It's about whether your team and your mindset are ready to use it. So, Melissa, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Welcome.
Adrian, great to be here. That was a great description. So I don't know who wrote that or if our friend Chat wrote that, but that was great. It's perfect.
Well, so you asked the question. I took our prep call transcript.
Mm-hmm.
I ran it through a Claude project, and it helps me write a nice intro.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't edit it, so it just kind of came out that way. It's kind of nice.
Perfect. Okay, there we go. That's a good setup for what we're about to talk about too.
Yeah, it is. So we are going to lean into teledentistry because that's your space is like you understand that better than about anybody I've ever talked to. So we're going to kind of use that as kind of a template for discussing AI implementation, technology implementation into a practice. Can you give me the 1 minute, like who's who, like who you are, where you came from, what you're doing, that thing? The 3,000 foot view of Melissa Turner.
3,000 foot view. So
yeah.
I'm a hygienist, been in dentistry for 20 years and lived and worked all across the States. Probably worked in over 100 dental practices, temping, long-term, short-term. And that was the first half of my career. And that set the stage for why I'm here talking about technology and implementation and teledentistry and AI and where is dentistry going in the future? And the future is here. That set the stage for all of this. I'm always a big picture, high level, long-term strategist. And so just having that foundation of working in on a lot of dental teams built where I am today. So that's the 3,000 foot view of what's happening right now.
Nice. What's the teledentistry company you built?
Mm-hmm.
What's it called?
So the company I built is I've co-founded a conference, a community for those who are interested in teledentistry, virtual care. It's the National Mobile and Teledentistry Conference. And then we have a 501c4 membership organization that's a sister organization to that called the American Mobile and Teledentistry Alliance.
American Mobile and Teledentistry Alliance. So mobile being mobile phones, that's not mobile like moving around.
It's actually both. So the background, and this is a good place to start. So back in the day, we'll say, 10 years ago or so,
right.
I was working clinically in Minnesota, and it had always been a dream to work on a practice that provided mobile or portable
dentistry,
dental services, right? And back then, a lot of these organizations that provided mobile services or portable services were either nonprofit or they would go into nursing homes or sometimes they would go into schools, although that was pretty much faded out at that point.
Yeah.
And so what happened at that point was I fell in love. Once I was working and directing this program, I fell in love with it. And I said, this is going to be mainstream in just a little bit because the universe is already going mobile. We're getting delivery, right? And this was pretty cool. We didn't even know.
Right.
But then what happened to Adrian was it was right around the time when telehealth had taken off.
Okay.
And it had been in virtual care had been talked about, and it had been talked about enough in dentistry
Mhm.
that the two CDT codes were just passed into the code book. So the ADA had just passed virtual asynchronous virtual care and synchronous virtual care teledentistry. And so at that point, we implemented teledentistry into the mobile program. And I mean, we don't have hard numbers, but anecdotally, I mean, I would say we tripled what we could do. The volume of patients, the
Really?
amount of procedures is the biggest growth I've ever seen in a dental practice. So, needless to say, that's the background of this conference, this community, this advocacy that I've been doing. It's mobile dentistry, old school mobile dentistry where it's actually taking patients or care to the patients, but then it's also mobile dentistry on the
On
phone.
the phone. Yeah.
I mean, it's
Oh,
now dual, it's now
wow. I did
but
this thing. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Wow.
6-7. Yeah, we're so old now. That's over. That's
That
so
was over like weeks
February.
after we ordered. Yeah.
But what I mean, and we're almost due for a rebrand because the times have changed and now mobile means both. But
Yeah.
the idea is, and even the ADA is starting a new workforce probably this fall on care delivery. And
Okay.
it's care delivery. What will it look like in 2050 or 50 years down the road or whatever? And so really what all this is about is learning how to take dental services outside of the brick and mortar, because I mean, I own multiple businesses. I do not own a dental practice,
Mhm.
but I do know that if I did own a dental practice, the square feet would be limiting
Yep.
on what I could do. And if I would just think about going virtual or think about adding maybe a portable, unit to the practice, the exponential growth, I mean, there's no end in sight for that.
Yeah.
So it comes down to I see how hard it is to run dental practices, to play the business side of dentistry with insurance, with fee for service, with people not wanting to come in, with people hating the dentist. I see how hard that is. And I see my friends struggling as dentists, as practice owners, as hygienists, and I want everything to improve. And so this is an easy thing you could do. Add a virtual arm. Easy, right? Of course.
No, it's not easy. That's the reason that we're talking today. That's my first question. My first question is why is it so damn difficult to implement something that should be easy? And when technology comes into a practice, I mean, you can this is a technology. I mean, you can look at this as a delivery technology, a care technology, right?
Yep.
It's not necessarily, I mean, teledentistry is definitely a software, but like mobile dentistry, that's not like a new software, but it is a fundamental shift in the way that you deliver care. Should be easy, should make sense. The hell, why is it so difficult for everybody to make a change?
We are a traditional industry. I mean, I have to go back to tradition, and that's fine. We've
Yeah.
created systems that have worked in the past, and it just so happens now that the world, the universe is moving on, and we're still trying to hold on to the systems that our forefathers and our mentors did in dentistry. And so it's a mindset change. And that's the hardest thing about it. The idea, like I'm not even gonna oversimplify this, but a dentist tomorrow could pick up the phone and have a HIPAA compliant video chat
Yeah.
with a patient, get paid for
Easy.
it. The patient doesn't have to come in. It takes 5 minutes. You don't have to turn over a room. You don't have to have four, personnel attending to the patient. You could do that tomorrow.
What's the
The
code?
hard
What's the billing code on that?
So you would bill, or well, it's a procedure code. You
Okay.
would
Procedure code. Yeah.
yeah, you would code out for whatever you did during the appointment, just like if the patient's sitting in your chair. So if it's oral hygiene instructions, if it's post-op, if it's, I mean, anything, you would code for that. And then you would add whatever type of teledentistry you did on top of it. So
Right.
if you are face-to-face, that's synchronous. if, let's say, one of your team members is going to a patient's house and the diagnosing provider is looking at the information and the charts and the
Yeah.
x-rays, 2 minutes later or 60 minutes later or the next day, that's called asynchronous teledentistry. So then you would code for that one. So it really is easy, Adrian. Like, we're already doing all of this in our regular lives. Why not bring it into dentistry, right?
Change is hard. It's always hard because, we're pattern types of, animals. We're going to call us animals.
Mammals.
Are mammals, animals, mammals, human beings. But is there a level of fear involved in like implementing technology, or is it literally just the struggle of change? Like when you go to a practice and you're going to implement a teledentistry process,
Mhm, mhm.
is it fear that's the resistance usually from the team? Is it, oh shit, here's another thing we got to do? Like where's the emotional resistance coming from? What is it usually?
I think it's a yes and scenario. It's both. And it's to put one over the other. Is it fear? Is it just having a change? I don't know. What I know is, especially with AI, there's fear, right? Even I'm afraid, and I'm the biggest AI advocate out there. Like, even I'm afraid. Um, but I think what it comes down to, if a dentist owns a practice and is also in the chair, that is a hard job. Like, I know when I work even 30 hours as a hygienist clinically, I am beat.
Yeah, you're
I am
done.
emotionally, physically, I'm done. That's 30 hours.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having to do that, plus run a dental practice, plus manage, plus be the CEO, plus understand the business end of it. And so when it comes down to it, I think the biggest issue with dentists and others in dentistry implementing change is that we're just so exhausted. We don't have time to
You don't have the energy.
to set up the right systems
Yeah.
in order to like make change possible or make implementation, effective, and also support the team at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think there's some broken spokes in the wheel when it comes to that. And that's where I'm hoping that some of these AI tools, but the business end and clinical end, will help create that space for at least dentists who are practice owners to be able to, spend more time on these other areas and move forward and change. It's hard.
Yeah, it is. It's tough.
Mhm,
The if we're talking about AI software, or let's just talk about technology software, okay?
mhm.
Um, AI stuff like diagnostics, um, note taking, I don't know, name your software that's kind of AI backed or powered or technology powered. Um, the companies that sell these services, and I know this because I'm kind of one of them,
Mhm.
basically says, look at how much time you're going to save. Okay.
Yeah.
And your claim, at least in my opening, I'm making it your claim, is that this actually doesn't save any time. The softwares don't really save time. Is that did I peg that correctly for you?
I think that's great.
Okay. So why?
Well, I mean, it may not save time, but it can definitely save energy.
Okay.
So
All right.
the other thing too is your time is what you make it. So if I'm going to implement a new AI tool and it gives me an extra 2 minutes with my patient, I'm not just sitting around during those 2 minutes. I'm going to
Right.
use those 2 minutes to communicate better to the patient, to
Right.
understand why they're not flossing, to understand why they don't want to go with this procedure, to connect and build that trust more.
Right.
So that time is still going to be there. It's just I'm
It's
using it
still
away.
work time. You're just doing
Still
it,
work.
just spending it in a different way.
Yeah.
Well, I get that's probably a closer claim that's true with it, which is like, like we have an AI receptionist, right? That picks up calls when you miss calls, right? So the AI picks up the calls, has a super awesome conversation, can schedule everything like that. So the sales pitch to the doctor, to the dentist is basically, look, rather than sending patients to voicemail and then requiring your team to listen to voicemail, if they even leave a voicemail, and then follow up with the patient, we can save you time from that particular task because it can be all automated. And now you can ask your front desk to spend more time with the patient in front of them, not
Mhm.
screwing around on TikTok on their phone, but actually, doing something with the patient that's
Yeah,
in front of them, right?
that's exactly right.
I can't remember. I mean, I love my dentist. I got a great dentist. Every time I go in there, the front desk is like, there's somebody in front of them, the phone is ringing. And I'm not exaggerating here. Like you hear that, like this is
They might not even
absolutely
look at you.
every damn
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
They're doing something on the computer. They're on a phone call. I walk in, they kind of nod at me, and I sit down, and then it's like, I don't like, there's no conversation, right?
Mhm.
I can't remember their names because I don't know if they remember my name. I don't know, whatever. But it's just like, there is that kind of personal touch relationship that gets kind of just manhandled because there's too much to do in the office rather than
Man,
manhandled.
manhandle your patients. Use
No,
AI.
don't manhandle your patients. Use AI. Like, yeah, there we go. Somebody coined that. Please run with it.
I mean, it's that, and then you have the younger generations. I mean, I'm a millennial, so I'm right on. I feel like the edge of some of these, you
Yeah,
know, generational differences. But if I walk into a medical practice or whatever, I'm exhausted. If I walk into the gym, I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, I just want to like punch a button to say I'm here, and then like go do my thing. I'm exhausted for my kids. I didn't sleep well. All this stuff. And so there's also the idea that even some of the younger generations don't necessarily want or find value in connecting with a human. They'd rather be more efficient, be more
yeah.
flexible, and be like, okay, I'm gonna check in with somebody that's not emotional right now and who's not asking too
Yeah.
many questions. And
Can
don't
I tell you the perfect example of this that's pretty kind of wild, something I've run into in the last year or two,
Mhm.
is this idea that new patients need to schedule through having a conversation with the front desk rather than just setting up online scheduling. Do you know how many times I've had a conversation with the dental team? They're like, no, no, no. We want to make sure that we really structure the relationship and care about our patients. I'm like, your patients honestly don't give a shit. They just want to schedule and be done. You can
Mm,
talk to them when they come in the office almost. You know what I mean? It's like,
that breaks my
yes,
heart. As a clinician, as a provider, as somebody who is obsessed with teeth and dentistry,
yeah,
that breaks my heart that a patient isn't also obsessed with it, but instead they're the opposite.
they're,
They
they
don't
don't, they don't want to spend time talking.
no, no, they don't. They
And the
don't want
crazy,
to spend
the crazy thing is the numbers behind like online scheduling are so absolutely ridiculous in a good way that they're almost like you're making the stuff up. Like
mm,
it's like you'll turn on online scheduling, you go from 50 patients scheduling a month, no extra marketing, to like 150. I've
mm,
seen situations like this. Like people just want to schedule the appointment. You could always have your team call them after the fact and build the relationship. But for some reason, there's this idea that like you have to like handhold the patient to schedule. Like I don't get it, you know?
mhm.
So anyway,
And
to your point.
to my point, yeah. Honestly, I'll tell you something that I haven't talked about a lot. It took 3 years to get my kids their first dental appointment in a new city. We had just moved here to Portland, Oregon, and, I was just busy, and every time I would try to, like, call a dental office, they'd be closed. I'm like, "I'm not gonna leave a message," like, I wasn't plugged into the local dental community, so I was like, "Okay, I'll just choose the dentist closer to me. I'll choose the dentist that has online scheduling." Well, nobody did. And so every
Really?
time I would try to yeah, nobody did. And so every time I would try to, like, schedule an appointment, it would be like, "Oh, it's the weekend," or
Yeah, yeah.
off
Or
hours. I'm like,
you leave a message and they don't call
"A
back or
message," and they don't call back. No, and then COVID hit, and I'm like, "Well, I'm not taking my kids," and now nobody knows what's happening.
yeah.
And so their first dental appointment, they were much older than I thought they would. I mean, I wasn't concerned, obviously, but they were much older than I wanted them to be simply because of the inconvenience of
Yeah.
being a parent, having kids, being a business owner,
Yeah.
not being able to get it. And this is me who at that point I was already talking about online scheduling and I was
Yeah.
like, this is ridiculous. I don't even
Why
I
is this
can't
happening?
even do this.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's like scheduling a dental appointment, as much as a doctor doesn't want to hear this, it needs to be as easy as DoorDash. That needs to be that simple.
Mhm. But
And
even inside of me, I'm like, no,
no,
we must connect with the patient. And I get it.
yeah,
I also get if a dentist wants to kind of pre-screen the patients
mhm,
too. And I think that's kind of an older way of thinking. Oh, I want to make sure the patient's a good fit for like I want to make sure I really want the patient here. But now we can do that through targeting,
yeah,
paid ads, and like
totally,
different targeting and different types of like we can kind of pre-screen other ways
yeah.
versus with them.
Yeah, pretty. So in terms of like kind of like standardized thinking, like modeled thinking and processes, that's like a really simple example. It's like you kind of have to change the way you think about it. Going back to your example, like it's so easy, just set up teledentistry, or it's so easy. A mobile unit would like double or triple your production or whatever the numbers are. Like I have, the numbers better than me, but like, but it's just like, no, we got to do things this way, and unwilling to like, just try it. I just had an interview with a doctor who was super resistant to online scheduling.
Yeah.
And he's had it for about a year now. And he booked 1,000 more patients in a year because of online scheduling. All the marketing was kind of the same. I mean, there was a little bit of an adjustment in his budget. His ad budget went up a little bit, but just like, he's like, and he was really honest. He's like, look, it took us about 3 months
Mm-hmm.
to really get the team like totally dialed in. But what we realized is that most of the patients that are calling to schedule appointments, because they didn't have online scheduling before this, most of the patients that were calling us were our recurring patients, the ones that we already have a relationship with, and they were calling and leaving messages, and then we were having to call them back, and like, no, you just send them a freaking link and let them schedule. They don't need the personal touch until they come in the office, right?
And then there will be those patients that like 79-year-old Sally,
Yeah.
who'll love to hear from you, right? So then those are the ones
Well,
that you spend time with. You
totally.
ask about the grandkids. You have that time now to spend with Sally, and then she's hopefully gonna, get all veneers now that she's turning
Yeah.
8.
Yeah. So, I want to kind of lean into your experience with teledentistry and
Mhm.
talk a little bit about this. Um, so there's a resistance to change, I guess, a little bit. Do you see that when you encourage somebody to implement teledentistry?
Yeah, what happens is they say, "Oh no, I'm fine." Like they literally put their hands up. We're fine. We don't need anything.
What's the
And
objection? The objection, we're fine because of what? Like, are they
they
not
will
wanting to grow, or like,
they'll say patients don't want it or they don't need to grow. Yeah. Yeah. That's what they say. And then when it comes down to it, there's different angles that I'll take depending on what their goals are, what they're dealing with. But the biggest thing that I can say right now, Adrian, and this is if I could shout this from the rooftop, from every stage, from every podcast, I would say this. But the biggest thing is baby boomers are leaving the practice. They're losing their autonomy. I see it in my parents. I see it in my friends' parents. They can't drive at night. They shouldn't really be driving. I don't want them driving my kids. All this stuff. They're leaving the practice, and they're one of the largest generations. They're probably the bulk of most dental practices patient population right now. They're losing autonomy.
okay,
If we can get them understanding how to video chat with the dentist, they can remain active patients in the practice.
mm,
And that the dentists and DSOs and private practices who understand that right now are going to thrive over the next 10, 15 years
yeah,
because they'll still be able to see the baby boomers instead of trying to vie for new patients and going that route. They can also do that.
this is
Um,
retention. It's a retention play. Yeah.
it's retention. It really is. And then the other thing is too, and this is more scary than virtual care, but once once you kind of realize that all of your services don't have to take place in your brick and mortar, that's when like the virtual care aspect is kind of like the gateway drug to being like, oh my gosh, like I can buy a $10,000 portable unit, have my bubbly hygienist and assistant go out to Sally's house.
Yeah.
Sally, we can see Sally. We can pretty much do comprehensive care. We can see Sally's husband, and she'll probably bring her grandchild and bring all the grandchildren over. We'll see them too. It becomes this community event, and then it's just symbolic of where we're going in the future. Teledentistry, we're not going to be using that word, or telehealth or telemedicine, in 10 years. It's simply going to be how we communicate with our patient. It's just it's communication is what it is. So, and that's why when I'm specifically educating on teledentistry, I say don't overthink it. It's simply just communicating with your patient, and you're saving money because they don't have to come here, and you can squeeze a bunch of these in your afternoon. You're at home or on the beach or on vacation, right? Like, you can do this as a dentist, and it's absolutely workable and acceptable and legal and paid.
So when you have when you've talked with a practice who's considering teledentistry, and then the doctor's like, I'm gonna have to set aside time to pull my phone out and do a video call. Like, I don't know, I'm hoping that this is not like a kind of a broad judgment, but I think dentists generally feel uncomfortable even just kind of walking into the room and having conversations, because like a lot of dentists, they're just like they're kind of robotic, to be honest. I'm sorry all the dentists are robots.
You said it. I'm not even agreeing.
Great. I'm just saying, like, when you're in the practice, when a doctor's in the practice, and it's their space, they feel comfortable walking into the operatory and this is actually what I meant to say. Okay. They felt probably pretty comfortable in their own space, right? Walking into the operatory. It's comfortable for them. They've done it 1,000 times. They know how to start the conversation. They know how to smile. They know how to, like, whether they touch the patient on the shoulder, or they understand, like, the vibe, right? Getting on a phone is gotta feel super, super awkward. I just imagine that it's because it's the interface is just a phone, that they probably feel a little bit out of sorts. Do you ever get that kind of response?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's something that I'm sure they all feel.
They have to.
But they're
I would.
Yeah. But here's the structure, and this is the learning curve that, for the dentists who are interested in implementing this right now. This is kind of where I'll work with them at. What we'll do is we'll take half a day, maybe Friday afternoon, who knows? And we'll set aside that time if they're going to do face-to-face calls versus the asynchronous store and forward teledentistry. Okay. Which I think everyone should, if they're going to do these calls, set aside a Friday afternoon, get your most tech-savvy employee to set everything up, to open the call, to say, hey, Sally, good to see you. We're going to take 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep. So have your most tech-savvy and also people-friendly employee do that. Set up the call, set up the patient, and say, hey, Sally, I'm going to turn off the camera. Give me 60 seconds. I'm going to go get Dr. Miller. We're going to bring Dr. Miller back in. He's going to do what he needs to. That's
great. And follow the model in the practice. That follow model. Okay, gotcha.
So the dentist still is with the patient for as little as maybe 3 minutes, maybe on the call, or less, right? But then the employee who set up the call, who's going to close out the call, who's going to tie all the loose ends together, is the one that's doing the bulk of the work for that afternoon.
Got it. That limits the awkwardness, because now the doctor has been prepped. In sales, this is kind of like a set to close kind of thing, right? They call it in sales. But, you have your bubbly team member, set the appointment, get everything prepared, hand the phone. The doctor does, now I know, start here and I end here, and then I hand the phone back, right?
That's it. That's exactly easy. But it's not even a phone. It's a computer, because phone is personal. That can be personal too.
Or you could just do it on your computer. Yeah.
Set up a computer, and like, the thing that I would encourage any dentist that's listening to this who is like, I don't know, like
You guys are
for
weird.
whatever reason, go have a telehealth appointment, about that random mole on your skin, or, go experience this outside of dentistry and see how easy it is, right?
Yeah.
Easy it is. And this is where in dentistry, we're so used to being in the brick and mortar. Once we realize that we can be on a workcation, we can actually be the business owner who is in, Florida on the beach in the morning. And then I'm just going to take 3 hours and see my virtual patients and then go back to the beach. Like, this is how it's going to change our lives in dentistry. We
I
deserve
don't know. You're pitching this beach thing. Come
or
on.
skiing.
Really?
If Aspen's your thing, do that too.
Oh, you can ski or snowboard too. All right. I just see this as I kind of see this like, I mean, look, there are a lot of dentists who are super happy with the production flow, their revenue. They don't necessarily need to grow and triple and double. They don't care about it. They're making good money. They're happy. They're comfortable. You would tell them, you can run your same practice with less hours by doing this. And now you can go to the beach. But there are other doctors, they're like, no, I'm building this thing to a $50 million DSO, $100 million, $200 million DSO. I got to like streamline and all that kind of stuff. And so you would talk to them like, yeah, well, this is a more efficient way in terms of generating revenue, the dollars per hour. I would imagine that the calls that you're getting on, you're spending a few minutes, maybe that's less than what you would possibly spend in the operatory.
You can fly. I mean, from the dentist standpoint, if they're only in for 2-3 minutes, which is completely acceptable on a telehealth visit, it is. It's the other person, the assistant, the other person that's doing the bulk of the work.
Right.
It's completely. So you can pack more in, and you could even have 2 computers going at once. 2 different rooms, 2 computers, back and forth, back and forth. The other thing I want to call out too is something that we don't often talk about in dentistry, but for parents, specifically for females who are in the birthing years, it is a very difficult place to be as a clinical worker, as a business owner. So this in itself, you can work from home, take care of your kids, and hop on virtual calls at the same time. That is unheard of in the past in dental. And that's why I'm like, there's so much there's so many benefits to this.
Yeah.
It's like, why don't people see? I've been shouting this for 10 years. I have been talking about this for 10 years nonstop, but I was ahead of the curve, right? Take some time to catch up. And pretty soon we're just going to be doing it. Not even going to be calling it teledentistry. It's just how it is.
Yeah. So this is more of a mindset change, you're thinking. This is not a real, I mean, there's a technology involved here, but really this is just in our head.
It really is. And when the younger generations, begin to take leadership and own more practices, then that's when we'll see this really change and just be norm. But that's why right now it's like, do I coach the older generations in order just for them to see value in it? I don't know. If they don't see value, that's okay. But it's the ones who are like, well, yeah, I can see some value. This is where then we start to kind of hunker down and see how we can easily implement this in practices, just one little step at a time. Nothing huge, it doesn't transform everything, just one little step at a time.
I think that probably specifically for this technology, or this teledentistry technology, I think that your claim and your analysis of the baby boomers kind of moving into this age in their life where they're going to become less and less mobile. I'm thinking about my mom who had knee surgery 4 months ago and has been had a virus in her knee or a bacteria or something like that. And she can't walk, I mean, like, and you multiply that by, 10 million people with knee problems that are 72 years old. Right. Yeah. I think everybody thinking about that would go, yeah, totally. My parents, are somebody our age, or their parents they would really appreciate the dentist showing up or the hygienist showing up at their house to do things rather than have to go and, go to the office and hobble around and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's one of your strongest claims, because the baby boomer is such a massive movement of people through the age, through age groups. I mean, there are like books written about companies that build products based upon the baby boomers moving through life, right?
Makes
Develop
sense.
product for that group. And then
Yeah.
as they move from there to here, they develop more product and they just follow the freaking group, right? As they get older and older. So I think that's a pretty strong claim.
Yeah.
And
I've seen too, and this has happened numerous times. My own grandmother was in an assisted living facility, and when I was a kid, she would be like, "Hey, Missy," when she'd call me Missy, like, "Hey, Missy, when I can't walk anymore, you'll floss my teeth, right?" And this was before I was
yeah,
even interested in dental. So
right.
then she ended up in a nursing home. She was on the other coast. I couldn't care for her, and she died of aspirating pneumonia, right? She had completely dry mouth. All it takes, and this has happened, especially in the mobile dentistry community, the portable dentistry community, all it takes is, somebody in your life to become incapacitated like that, and it clicks. And
Yeah.
I've talked to many dentists where they're like, I never knew, that it's so hard to get dental care, until my mom was in the nursing home and nobody would see her and nobody would look at her. And so at that point it clicks. And then it's also going to be us someday. We're going to be laying in bed hoping somebody
No,
just brushed
no,
our
that never
teeth.
happened. We're going to live forever.
Peptides, we got all this stuff going on.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to be robots before we know it.
Robots.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It takes a personal experience like that for it to click.
Yeah.
And I've seen that again and again and again in dentists. And the fun thing is too, specifically with mobile dentistry, a lot of us have done it in school and a lot of us had fun doing it. And it's fun. It's really a fun thing to do, going out to the community and providing services in workplaces and in a mobile van. It can be creepy a little bit sometimes too. So I will acknowledge that. Always have somebody else with you, never go alone into somebody's houses. But it's fun to get out of the dental office and to go into the community. It's a whole different vibe.
Well, you're bringing up a question that I would have. I think this might be a concern for a doctor who was considering, doing this, which would
Mhm.
be, how do you know, how do you manage the employee, the team member who's driving around all day? You know what I mean? It's like, obviously you're going to send somebody out that is responsible, kind, hardworking, right? But let's be honest, you don't know if they got the mobile van and they're just chilling at the park, So, just
Well, you don't hire a team member that is going to do that, number one. But I do think, in dental school,
it's probably it's probably a concern that pops up that's easily overcome. But
it's easy. You just fire them and get somebody else. I mean, come on.
That's true.
But that doesn't happen. I mean, it doesn't happen because what ends up happening is, even if you ask on your own clinical team, is anyone interested in doing this? The people that are interested in doing it are going to be the ones that care and actually give a shit. So they're going to be the ones that are going to go give it their all and are willing to work for it. And, it's always go out in pairs. No, never send somebody alone. So there's that accountability. There's that safety.
Right.
But I'll tell you this too. It's out of working all across the country in dental offices, the biggest strength and the biggest weakness of dentists is micromanaging. So it does take some.
You got to give them some autonomy.
Yeah, some skill, some level of wherewithal to be like, okay, this is not the same as working in a practice. I can't look over their shoulder. I can't micromanage. I got to trust them. And that mindset coming back into the dental office is going to be an asset too.
Yeah. I love it. I still think that we might find an employee or two is going to end up at the park playing volleyball. You know what I think what needs to happen? You just put them all in Find My Friends so you can kind of see where they're going. Just check up on them, see if they're at the park playing volleyball.
But Adrian, who knows? Maybe if they're at the park, they're recruiting new patients and then you can set up shop at the park. I mean, there have been dental practices out there that simply roll up to a street corner. They advertise on Instagram and TikTok that they're going to be there that day.
Yeah.
And people come. And that's
it'll pop up.
Exactly. That's, out of the box for a lot. I don't necessarily recommend that. That takes a very unique niche. patient population.
Yeah.
But it ends up being a community thing. And I think of, we need so much work done in our house. And I think of any time there's, a neighbor who's getting construction done or a new roof put on or anything like that. I'm like, okay, who is that? What is the van? I'm going to go take a picture of the van and look it up later. I'm going to hire them. And that's the same thing that we can do when we're at people's houses. Have your van out there with your logo on, and all the neighbors start to peek out. What's happening out there?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a community thing. It's community-centered care. It's really what it is.
I also do like the idea that you always have a pair. Hold till they're accountable, and also weird. You never know. You might show up at a park and there's that one creep guy, it's getting a little too close.
I mean, you're telling me I'm a woman. I travel alone. There's so many creepy people out there.
I know, I'm one of the creepy guys. That's unfortunately, people look at me and they think, that guy's definitely, stay away from him.
Why does he keep talking to me? I don't know.
He's just friendly, damn it. He's just nice. No, he's a creep. Don't talk to me.
Yes, that's hilarious. Yeah. And really, though, it does take some, there's some, even as a mobile clinician, there are these small vans that don't really have windows.
Yeah.
I'm I would never work in one of those.
Get windows. Make sure you
van. Yeah. We're going to have windows. We're going to make it big. We're going to make it a public thing versus private thing, or go into somebody's house.
So there's a list of things that probably are a protocol.
Yes.
Van with windows.
Yes.
Always two people. But everybody, I'll find my friends,
I have that list. Nobody needs to worry about making that list. I got it. Just ask me for it. What not to do.
I'll put all your contact information in this note. So for those doctors who are like, okay, what was that again? A van with windows. Whatever. Reach out to Melissa and she will get you what you need.
Maybe if you have a mustache, maybe just shave that mustache.
Just get rid of it.
Patients in the van.
Get rid of your mustache. Yeah, don't have dreadlocks like I used to have down to my hips, because then I look crazy.
I mean, I like dreadlocks, right? I liked yours. That might, I don't know. Well,
a white guy with dreadlocks is different than a black guy with dreadlocks. A white guy with dreadlocks is either trying way too hard or he's a degenerate,
A dentist with dreadlocks. I mean, that's
cool.
dichotomy.
That's cool.
That might, I don't know.
That's super cool.
That's called branding right there. That
is branding. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Building bridges, man. Building bridges. Yeah, I like it. All right. Well, thanks, Melissa, for coming on. That was awesome. Fun. You're super awesome. Please reach out to Melissa if you have questions about teledentistry, or you want to have anything last thing you want to say before we close up?
Well, all I'll say is we're going to see more changes in the next 5 years in dental than we've seen in the last 50. So those who are going to be left behind are going to be left behind. So as much as we can communicate better with our patients, go where they are. And, that's the name of what I'm preaching these days. And if you can if practices and hygienists and dentists can just take one small step this month towards that, just a small step. I don't even know what that means. Just one video chat, just one something. It'll open a lot of doors, and it'll help the business run better. It'll make patients like you better, and you'll have fun doing it too. So
when's your event?
Those are my final words.
When's your event? When's your next event?
So we host our event. It's after Chicago Midwinter. It'll be March 11th through 13th. And y'all get to come out here to Portland, Oregon with me.
Okay. So this is a year out. Okay.
This is 2027. Mm-hmm.
Okay. March, what again?
March 11th through 13, 2027. And it's a fun, interesting group of people, not your traditional dental,
a lot of dreadlocks.
So all are welcome. All are welcome.
Thank you, Melissa. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome. Thanks, Adrian.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to Bite Size Podcast. Tune in to stay up to date with everything dental AI and tech